I'm Delaney George. I make tiny things for a living. My grandpa made dollhouses for all the ladies in his life. My grandma and my sister and my mom and me, and we spent our childhood years decorating them and finding little accessories to fill the rooms with. I was raised in a very crafty household. My mom was always bringing home different projects for us to work on. We did decoupage, and we made soap and did beading, and we're always getting our hands dirty with paint and glue and all of that. But I don't think it occurred to me until pretty late in my education that it could be a viable career path doing something artistic or crafty. One year for Christmas, I decided to make my grandparents a box of personalized accessories for their dollhouse. So that included like a miniature version of my grandma's wedding dress and tiny family portraits. And I remember these being opened on Christmas Day, and my grandparents were like, "Oh, these are so cool, you should try to sell them." And so when I got into graduate school and I had some extra time, I thought, why the heck not? And I started listing them on Etsy. And I remember being really surprised the first sale that I had on Etsy, who out there is into this stuff too? It's funny, you wouldn't think, but there's a whole world, of mini-acts out there. It went from being like a really small sliver of a student's income to a full-time job. My career on Etsy has opened a lot of really interesting doors, and on a daily basis I get all sorts of strange requests, from potential customers looking for custom orders, and I hear from other artists working on different art projects. And one day I got an email from Dover Publications asking if I would be interested in doing a DIY book of tiny paper dresses. I spent a number of months creating this book all dolled up, and it's got these two paper dolls. So it includes these two paper dolls that you create dresses for, and it explores fashion from the 1880s to the 1920s. When I came down to New Orleans, I was totally gobsmacked by the buildings and the culture and this history that's really complicated but interesting to wrestle with. I just love walking the streets. I feel like you're time traveling. But since being in New Orleans for the past few years, just the people that I've met are really incredible. And you discover that there's this great community of artists who support each other and are very generously collaborating with each other. And so as much as I love the buildings and the history, I found a city of my soulmates when I moved to New Orleans. The scavenger hunt, it takes people to sort of off the beaten track or historically interesting corners of New Orleans. Every Saturday, we hide a tiny treasure in some corner of New Orleans, and then we post a clue to its whereabouts on my Instagram page. We don't give away the location explicitly, but there'll be a photograph of the location and where the clue has been hidden, and then kind of an explanation of that location's significance, So the first person to find it gets to keep it. One of the missions of the scavenger hunt is, when you increase awareness about these historical sites, I think that you better their chances of survival because, maybe you're introducing them to a new generation of people who will manage and support their upkeep. These places need love and preservation, and so I think the more people that are aware of their existence, you better ensure the chances of that being preserved for future generations. If you go to my website, www.ladydelaney.com, that's sort of an umbrella for all of my various strange projects. It will link you to my Etsy shop and to my mystery subscription series, and it links to my Instagram too, so you can keep track of the scavenger hunts.